Hi, guys. Welcome back to Crime Time with Jess. So, I've mentioned before, plenty of times, I think, just here or there, different things about the trans movement. And that's because I have said it before, but I've been following the trans movement for a long time. And it's a very deep rabbit hole, to say the least. But every time I want to do like a whole entire live about it, my brain kind of goes haywire because there's so many things to talk about the trans movement and how problematic it truly is. And so my brain just kind of scatters, and I'm like, where do I start? Because there's so much to it. But I just thought that maybe doing trans reaction videos where I would just let them speak for themselves, and you'll just get to see my reaction. And maybe we can get into deeper talks about trans stuff and stuff like that. But without further ado, I'm going to hand the screen over to these lovely people. And we're just going to watch random trans videos. And we're just going to react to them. So they do come across my screen or across my feed on TikTok because, again, I follow the movement. So hang on a sec.
People do this. There are so many reasons why a trans person might want or literally need to be stealth. Number one, the most obvious, it might put them in danger, especially with a lot of the laws going.
Okay, so I stopped here because I was watching this one, and this person is actually talking about something that I think is really one of the very problematic things within the trans community is going stealth. And if you guys don't know what that means, that just means basically lying about who you are. So you kind of, if you're a trans woman, you're a biological male, but you present as a woman, you lie to everyone, and everyone thinks that you're a woman, or you will try to date straight men and not tell them, which I must say, it seems to be pretty unilateral that straight men want to be told. This is resounding with them. They want to know, they want to be told. And that's it. And I don't think that's a big ask. But you would think that that's like pretty straightforward. If you're going to engage sexually with someone, that they should know at least who you are biologically, right? You think that would be like a straightforward thing. It's not. It's actually a little hot button issue within the trans community because some people think that they should be able to go stealth. And there's nothing wrong with that. They feel like if they are not ready to tell you who they are, that they should not, they shouldn't be forced to do that. And you can just only imagine the problems that arise from that. But let's watch this trans person explain about going stealth. And I like the way they frame it because, there's a big cornerstone of the trans movement, and that's fear. Oh my God, if you don't go along with what I like to call the big lie, because it is a lie, but if you don't go along with someone's lie or their lie, then you're this transphobic, terrible, bad person, and they're gonna hurt themselves or harm themselves because you won't tell them that they are a girl, even if they're not a girl. That they might off themselves because of it. I'm having trouble with words today, in case you haven't noticed. But anyway, let's just watch this person because they basically start with the fear thing.
Okay, so right off the bat, when a trans person says they're cis, it's normally not called lying, but rather called being stealth. So what is being stealth, and why do some trans people do it? Being stealth is essentially not coming out socially, but still presenting as your identified gender. For example, say I went to school presenting fully masculine and didn't tell anyone I was trans. That's being stealth. It's me trying to present as a cis male without anyone knowing I'm trans. There's a lot of different scenarios in which a trans person can be stealth, but that's just one. But why do some trans people do this? There are so many reasons why a trans person might want or literally need to be stealth. Number one, the most obvious, it might put them in danger, especially with a lot of the laws going on. For example, let's use the bathroom bills. Due to the recent laws, a lot of trans people have to go to the bathroom that matches their biological sex. Now, say there's a trans woman who passes relatively well as a female, having to go into the
Can you imagine the horrors of having to go to the bathroom where everyone else has the same genitalia as you? The horror. I mean, just the depravity, really, like this is such a terrible thing. Here's the thing with the bathroom stuff that gets me. Because people like this will say, this is so dangerous. A trans woman who, again, is a biological male, a trans woman, going into a male's bathroom, they're just in so much danger. They can be R-worded, or they could be beat up, or they're just in all this danger because men are so rapey and terrible, that we just can't possibly send them in there. Instead, you are going to send a biological male into the female bathroom. Okay. Well, didn't you just say that you're terrified of men, so you don't want to go into the men's bathroom, but you want to send them into our bathroom, into the physically weaker sex bathroom? That makes sense. There's just so much that does not make sense about any of this. And I think a big problem that I have with the trans movement is that it's an extremely selfish movement. You will often see people like this say things like, these are my pronouns, and what is so hard about understanding them? And, you have to call me this. This is my preferred pronoun. But when it comes to the other side, like when some women, for whatever reason, if it's a religious reason, or if it's maybe something happened to them, sexually, they were assaulted or something, but they just don't want to be in the bathroom with a male. Whatever reason women have, and even if they don't have a reason at all, I don't think they even have to have a reason. But if women say, hey, we don't want you in this space, then I think they have a right to say that. Because the trans movement is just me, 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 me. It's all about my feelings. I don't care about any of you guys. I don't care how you guys feel. It's all about how I feel. Because my suicide rate is really high. So, if I don't come in this bathroom, I might harm myself. This is the message. And it's just, it's insane. Really, it is. I watch some of this stuff and I just continually shake my head. But anyway, let this person keep going on.
We could face harassment, have to be the token trans friend, or even be someone's personal Google, facing all these different risks just to come out. So yeah, of course a lot of trans people don't want to face that, so they just stay stealth. There's so many other reasons that I'm not going to get into, or literally can't get into. This conversation is so nuanced because it depends on everyone's individual experiences. There may be some repeating factors, but no two people are going to face the same thing. There are just so many reasons someone may be stealth. I think this goes without saying. You asked how I feel about it. I'm in full support of it. I think it's great. It saves a lot of trans people time, energy, and literally keeps them safe. So yeah, I'm all for it. I've even had to be stealth before. Anyways, yeah, here's my cool
Yeah, that is definitely not the only reason that trans people go stealth. Some of them go stealth because they just literally don't want someone to know that they're trans, and they will try. This actually happened to someone I know, okay? Someone I know very good. They're actually, okay, I'm not going to say that, but someone I know very, very, very well, this happened to. He's a male, a straight male, and he was talking to what he thought was a biological female. This was probably 20 years ago, too. This was a long time ago. This was not recent at all, but he ended up going over to her house for the first time to meet her. And I think they were going to, have a little razzle dazzle, a little love time. And that is not the way it went. It ended in violence, to be honest with you. It ended in violence. So, and it's because, people don't like being lied to. They just don't. In whatever capacity, people just genuinely don't like being lied to. So when you're doing that, let's see. There's other videos, and we shall find them because I was watching some of them earlier. Hang on a second. And you'll notice just as I'm scrolling, I don't know how much of my screen you can see, but there's a lot of sexualness to all of this, of course, and I think that comes from because there's such a small percentage of the population that actually has gender dysphoria. Very small. What is it? 0.01%. Very small. But people like this, a lot of them, this is a fetish for them, and it is attention seeking. They don't genuinely suffer from gender dysphoria or go out of their way to really present as the other gender because it is a mental illness, and there's nothing wrong with admitting this. I don't, but these people I think do it for not because they have gender dysphoria, just attention mainly. Here's one I was watching earlier. Oops. Should trans girls tell guys they're trans?
Why do you want straight men so bad, and vice versa? Why don't you date your own kind? That's like me saying I'm a straight man, but I prefer to date lesbians. Yes, you should. Why do you want straight men so bad? And
yeah, so that was a reaction video. And you'll see that a lot with straight guys that just they're not really down for that. And I feel like they have a right to feel that way. If they are straight, then clearly they like biological women. And I feel like being lied to is just wrong. And so when people react badly to that, then suddenly they're the bad person when in reality they were the ones that were lied to and essentially forced into doing something that they otherwise would have never did had they known the truth. Okay, so let's see. Oh, what is this, Lordy? Cis women don't own periods.
This comes out the audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. Okay. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you. This is what I mean when the transphobia just comes out. The audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't.
Okay, then if we don't, who does? If this is not the most misogynistic thing I've ever seen. You have a male here, clearly a biological male, dressed in female clothing, makeup and all of that, and telling women, biological women, what they call cis women, that we don't own periods. Well, who the hell does that? As I'm pretty sure that's just exclusive to us. Shooey. This is what I'm talking about, and this is so prevalent on TikTok. It's scary. It's some of it you laugh at, and others you just are your mouth's on the floor. Let's see. Oh. Sorry, I don't know where all the one thoughts are. Oh, so here we have a person that lied about being trans, and then she got caught online. So she made a TikTok about that too. It says nearly 2 years on this app, and they finally got me. I've really been a cis woman all along.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Get fucking wrecked. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da.
And, you know, she says here, Wendy, that's the person, says, I just really like trans culture. She really loves the ideology. This person lied. And this isn't the only video that I've seen like this. Why? Because people get attention. They get attention. They get people following them. You know, when someone comes out as trans, right? There's this outpouring of love, and you know, you're so great, you're so brave and so courageous, and we just love you. Just get all this love for no reason, really, just for saying I would like to dress and look like the opposite sex. Oh my God, you're a hero, you know. And so there's a lot of people that do this literally just for attention, and it's pretty sad. This TikTok says, I better get to bed. I have a long day of lying about my gender and tricking straight men ahead of me. That would be a instance of someone being stealth and lying. Let's listen to this guy. Oops.
Ask her out or whatever, she goes, look, I'm trans or whatever. That guy, I would thank her for telling me the truth. Like up front, thank you so much. If she did not tell me, and I found out after the fact, she would definitely bring the worst out of me. I would feel raped. Now, I don't think that's right. I see a lot of men, well, of course, I don't say a lot of men, but you know how we're definitely against rape culture. But I'm finding that a lot of these guys go get their body changed and they're still doing the same thing in a different way. That's still rape. If a man does not know that you're a man, you're raping him. He did not consent to sex with a man. And if he finds out that that's what he did, it's not that he will in your life.
That's what she was saying. Like,
but what he may do to you may end your life.
Yeah,
because he'll be so infuriated. Yeah. And I think that's any woman. If she had the strength to beat the crap out of that man, even if it means beat him lifeless, she would if he violated her. Yeah. So a man in that moment he's gonna snap. He's gonna lose his mind. So I think that's very dangerous to play like that. Right. So if some guy walks up to her and finds her.
I think it's a little dangerous too. I'm not going to say that anybody should die, but you are violating people by doing that. When you're aware that someone is straight or whatever they are, and you misrepresent yourself purposely to have sexual relations with them or whatever, you are violating them in a major way. This was a really good one.
That these transphobic TikTokers are misrepresenting what I said and just straight up lying, because that's the only way you can disagree with what I'm about to tell you.
Straight up lying? That's interesting. This is episode 12 of Exposing Lies on TikTok.
Their entire argument is that gender is biological and anyone who is trans is just mentally unwell. This is something that the general scientific community agrees is wrong.
Yes, gender is based in biology. That's why the concept of man is formally and informally defined as adult male human, and the concept of woman is defined as adult female human. People who identify as trans are those with an incongruence between their biological sex and their perceived gender identity. There's also a mental disorder known as gender dysphoria that's classified in the DSM-5 and is described as a sense of unease that a person may have because of a mismatch between their biological sex and their gender identity. I don't think that's a coincidence.
When it comes to chromosomes, XX equals female, XY equals male, and any other combination of chromosomes is intersex.
Not necessarily. XX is generally associated with females and XY is generally associated with males, but what actually determines gender is the activation of the SRY gene in the Y chromosome. So males are males because the SRY gene successfully activated in the Y chromosome, which initiates male embryonic development. Females are females because they have no activation of an SRY gene, so they undergo female embryonic development. There can be exceptions to this. Some males can have XXY chromosomes, also known as Klinefelter syndrome, but they are still male because the SRY gene in the Y chromosome was activated.
Did you know that sometimes someone who is biologically male can actually have the appearance of a female? And they don't have extra chromosomes or anything. They legit just have XX or XY chromosome. When males present female, it's called Sawyer syndrome. They grow up and live their entire lives as women despite being biologically male.
Yeah, that's completely wrong. People with Swyer syndrome aren't males presenting as female. They're just females with XY chromosomes. And it's just blatant spreading of misinformation to refer to them as males because the scientific community doesn't at all agree with that assertion. Swyer syndrome is a rare disorder that occurs when someone has XY chromosomes, but the SRY gene in the Y chromosome does not activate. Because the SRY gene does not activate, the individual does not go down the male embryonic developmental pathway. They have no sex glands, but instead develop female internal and external genitalia. So these individuals are not male just because they have XY chromosomes. It's a little more complicated than that.
We know what brainwashing somebody on the basis of gender looks like, and we also know that it doesn't fucking work. A long time ago, a crackpot psychologist called John Money conducted an experiment.
It's kind of ironic that you mentioned John Money, the sick and twisted doctor who used someone with a medical condition to experiment on and justify his theory of gender identity. Because here you are trying to use people with intersex conditions who are completely unrelated to those who choose to identify as trans as a way to justify your gender ideology, all while making claims that are eerily similar to claims that John Money himself made. I think it's time to take a good look in the mirror.
That these transphobic TikTokers are...
That was really well put together. And if you guys are unaware of who John Money is, ooh, we could probably do a whole live on that one. Let's see. There's a couple more. Oh, this was a big one, and I actually seen other YouTubers cover this person, but this TikToker did, so we'll just let him talk about this for a minute.
Activist is causing chaos after saying this.
If you don't have gender dysphoria, just lie about it.
That's right, you heard this activist correct. They're telling people on TikTok to just lie about having gender dysphoria in order to get cross-sex hormones. And this is having people lose their minds. And even other trans activists are saying that this person is giving them a bad name and giving their activism a huge problem, because now it just seems like they're giving in to what everyone has been saying all along, that it's just in their heads and they're lying about it. Like, this is some of the worst advice I've ever seen. They're saying that even if you don't have gender dysphoria, to go and lie to a doctor, go lie to someone so you can receive medication that you don't even need because you don't have the dysphoria. Like, in what plane, in what existence does you lying about how you feel, does you lying help your cause at all? If anything, this message is just going to lead to more transphobia, because you're literally telling people to say they have it even if they don't have it. And a lot of people will look up to this activist. Children look up to this activist, and they're hearing these words, and unfortunately some of them are probably going to go to their doctor, lie to them, and get these hormones.
Now, you may think that he's like going overboard here. He's not. He's really not. This happens. The indoctrination of our children is very disturbing, and I've just been watching it grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. To, you know, now again we're seeing a lot of detransitioners. They don't want to talk about that, but there are definitely people that will talk about that. Blair White, I've mentioned her numerous times before. She's probably my favorite trans YouTuber, and I highly respect Blair. Blair is biologically a male, still intact. She has talked about this, but the thing I like about Blair is she doesn't lie. She doesn't need to lie. You know, she fully recognizes that she has gender dysphoria, that it is a mental illness. You know, she worked very, very hard at trying to present as a woman. And in my opinion, Blair is beautiful. I think Blair is very pretty. But again, the greatest thing about Blair is that there is no lie. You know, she doesn't go around and say all this crazy stuff. And if you're not attracted to me, then you're transphobic. She doesn't do any of that. None of it. So, hi, Grandma. What did Grandma say? And hi, Justice. Yeah, stop paying Dr. Frankenstein to hack parts off and add new ones. Well, that's exactly what they do, you know, and it's kind of pretty sad. Hi, Mary. Good to see you. I'm just checking the comments. Grandma is saying, I used to sell plus size women's clothing. I've had men come in there and some just wanted clothes. Others wanted to come in and get naked in a dressing room and have us dress them. Yeah, see, there's a fetish going on here. Okay. When some fat, gross, Hold on. When some gross, fat, naked, white blob brings out his alleged member, and you're supposed to respect that. Nah. Yeah. I just, you know. Did you guys see the trans woman that joined a sorority? Did you guys see anything about that? It joined a sorority, and it just horrendous, dude. I mean, this person looked just like a male. He's in the female sorority. The female sorority members started saying, you know, he's walking around in front of us erect. He's watching them change clothes. He was asking them, you know, all these kinds of questions about their bodies, what this felt like, what that felt like. You know, it's just crazy stuff. And this is supposed to be accepted. And I disagree. I felt, oops. I didn't mean to bring that up. That is a chromosomal disorder. I say be what you are born with. Yeah, you know, that's the thing, is that, and that's another conundrum, really. Like, trans people's message is so conflicting. Because it's like, you know, accept me for who I am, even though they can't accept themselves for who they truly are. Well, how am I supposed to accept you if you don't accept you? Do you know what I mean? I need to scroll back. You're scarred. There's so much, Grandma. We had guys in fashion shows, women's clothing. Oxymoron. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, doing stuff like that for fun, fine, whatever. I don't care. But it's like when you see like the like pride parades, like family-friendly pride parades. Okay, there may be a ton of people out there with pride shirts on, and they're normal. But then you also have, you know, a group of guys dressed as dogs in bondage, you know, and you still have your 7-year-old or 8-year-old kid like walking around with these people. And it's just, kinks are for adults. They're not for kids. They're just not. You know, how awkward is that? Is that you're walking. What if you realize at like 11 or 12 or something that you really like something, and you're with your mom at a pride parade? You know, like I wouldn't want to talk to my mom about my kinks. It's pretty adult-like and it's pretty private. I just, you know, maybe you guys do. Who knows? But either way, I just don't. Kinks are not for kids. They're not at all. And if you think so, then I don't know. I'll probably question your morals or something. Accept is because we didn't accept us, but now we do. So accept us. Yeah, it is. It's such an oxymoron. But anyway, I'm going to go back to the TikTok videos because there are some doozies on there. It's kind of sad in some ways. Like Jazz Jennings, I truly find Jazz Jennings to be sad. Hold on, let's see. Oh, I think this is so sad to me. Ah, what the world? My mouse does not want to work.
Of your beastly hair. I'm gonna microwave it? No. Thirsty?
What is that? That scared me. It's wax.
It's time to rid you of your beastly hair. I'm gonna microwave it, and I'm gonna stir it up, and I'm gonna...
My legs are sexy. Oh, this is a lot of hair. It's been 2 years since I've shaved my legs.
This is very, very long. Jazz is heading off to college in just 1 week, and the whole course of her life is about to change. Let's give you a new look.
One day I just decided, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna shave my legs anymore because it takes me way too long. Not enough people notice if your legs are hairy or not.
I understand it. It's a personal choice, and now it's your personal choice to get rid of it. Jazz is more of a hippie. When people were burning bras, she'd be first in line. She hates bras. She hates to shave.
Do you even know
She
what you're
hates
talking about?
bras. She hates to shave. That's because Jazz is a biological male. This mother, Jazz Jennings' mom, makes my head want to explode. This woman is so abusive. It is not even funny. I mean, what she did to her own child is just horrific beyond, I don't even know. But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, what is up with my darn mouse? Doesn't want to move where I want it to move. I want to see Blair White. Because I do believe that Blair just finally, 2 weeks ago, she did a video on Judge Jennings. Finally, I've been waiting for her.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that
a boy living as a girl.
Girl brain and boy body. We'll say things like God made you special, because there aren't very many little girls out there that have a.
Why are you cutting there? Right here? Why? If you don't have to cut this, why would you cut that?
A mother just told this baby, you're your own worst enemy, to anyone with any discernment, right? The mother is the child's worst enemy. I have been so reluctant to talk.
Again, just in case you guys don't know who Blair White is transgender, from male to female. So if anybody is able to speak on this subject, I think it's definitely her. But this has been a difficult topic for her. And so when she finally did put out a video about Jazz, I watched it and she nailed it. But I want to speed it up so I don't get like struck or anything. But I do want to watch this with you guys.
Talk about Jazz Jennings on this channel for years, because I genuinely feel very bad for Jazz. And I see the way she's handled by other kind of YouTubers and right-wing commentators, and I'm not exactly cool with the way she's handled and spoken about sometimes, because Jazz is a victim, right? And try as people may to make me out to be the villain of the trans community, the Voldemort of the trans community, the bully, I have zero interest in attacking someone I believe to be a victim. And that is Jazz. The trepidation I've felt over the years is very much, I don't want to post a video necessarily about Jazz and have her log onto her socials or something, and she's getting comments about Blair White did a video on you. Because I know what that will probably make her feel like, because I know my reputation and I know where she lands ideologically, and she's not going to feel great about that. But at some point, it's got to speak the truth, right? And this is very important. So we're going to talk about it. So if you don't know, Jazz came out as transgender at 2 years old, because that makes sense, right? She had a full bottom surgery sex change, 17. You know, that thing that they say they're not doing to minors? That's a right-wing conspiracy. You put it on TV, babes. So sex change at 17, came out at 2, puberty blockers at 11. Sorry, I'm all over the place. It's like, this is just, I don't like this story. For lack of a better phrase, it triggers me. I am not embarrassed to use that phrase, because sometimes it fits. I'm very triggered by what has happened to her and what's been done to her by her parents, by TLC, the television network, by these doctors, by these activists, by everyone. So we're going to watch a little montage of Jazz's life to really paint the picture of how demented this entire thing has been.
At just 11 years old, she is the brave and beautiful new face of a child born in the wrong body.
And I'm already having an issue. First of all, look at that baby. They just said this baby, this child, this innocent soul was born in the wrong body. First of all, even as a transsexual adult, I have never and would never subscribe to this stupid talking point, this stupid toxic mantra of born in the wrong body. And I understand that on the outside looking in, someone could look at me and be like, Blair, how could you feel like you weren't born in the wrong body when you changed it? You don't have to get it. I don't believe I was born in the wrong body. I believe everything I've ever done, life experiences, good things, bad things, changes that I made have led me to here, where I'm ultimately living a great, happy life. So the idea that before Jazz was able to even experience life, she was 2 when she came out she was being told things like, you're in the wrong body. That's abuse.
A boy living as a girl.
A girl brain and boy body.
All right, when we first met.
How old was Jazz there? 3? 4?
Let me just stop, for creative purposes. But again, I could not say this any better than Blair is saying this. 2 years old, 3, 4 years old. This is ridiculous. Aubrey is 7. And she doesn't say to me, oh, Mom, I would like to explore my gender. Mom, just never. All of my children are all different. They all have different personalities. They have different likes, dislikes, just different ways about them. And this topic has never really came up. Why? Because I don't really bring it up to them. They've said different things about different stuff, but it's never gone this far. Even though Jace liked wearing Callie's headbands and Aubrey likes doing some boy things sometimes. It doesn't make them transgender. And what Jazz Jennings' mother did is just, I believe it is abuse, in my opinion.
Even in preschool? Yeah, because that was young. And to already have a camera in her face. Tell the camera you're a boy with a girl brain.
We'll say things like God made you special because there aren't very many little girls out there that have a penis.
Okay.
I love Blair.
So we are a minute in. I have already heard her mother, her toxic mother, talk about her genitals. Why, Miss Mother, are you talking about your child's genitals on television at all? I don't understand, but I could imagine the amount of layers that it would take for someone like Jazz to have to go through over probably the course of decades, really, to unpack and really get to that final destination of understanding that this is a very abusive situation. Because when this is what it is at 2, most people don't even have memories at that age, right? Like that's, if it's not on camera, would she even remember her mother talking about her special penis? It's demented.
They allowed Jazz to openly identify in the opposite gender because they and their doctor
look how young. And clearly just had a camera up in her face from the start. Probably pitching that reality show that they didn't get until she was around like 11 or 12, right? Probably already pitching it. Get Barbara Walters on deck. Get that money rolling in, right? We got to monetize.
Get Barbara Walters on deck. Get that money rolling in. Exactly right.
This child abuse. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. I don't care. Because even if we are to grant that this baby is genuinely experiencing gender dysphoria, let's go there, right? Let's go there and grant that this baby was born with gender dysphoria, which, I don't know if I was born with it, but I know it occurred at a very young age. So it's not necessarily beyond me fathoming that that's a possibility, right? Even if you believe that Jazz is a genuine example of a genuine trans person who would have genuinely ended up that way as an adult on her own volition, you definitely can't say with a straight face, look at me in my eyes, that she consented to all of this on camera, right? Because even if she's a genuine trans person and an example of someone who would have ended up genuinely being trans later in life, you definitely would agree that's probably a delicate process that deserves some privacy and respect of the individual going through it, no matter what age, right? So if this was a genuine journey, maybe you don't put the camera in the kid's face, right? Maybe don't throw the kid on TV, right? Maybe don't talk about the kid's genitals on TV. And we are a minute and 30 seconds into this clip. Hi. This is very upsetting.
We're convinced this was not a phase, but a condition now called gender dysphoria.
A phase is called a phase because it is just that. It ends. And this is not ending. This is just getting stronger.
How do you know it wasn't going to end? You never gave it a chance to end. You just threw this kid in. Oh, now you're a girl. Yeah, you're dressing a girl. You never gave gave it a chance. I mean, like Blair said, that this kid was transitioned before they were even 18 years old. When I say transitions, I mean you know, the penis was chopped off. They have a neo vagina at this point that, well, she's going to get into that.
So how could it end?
So
you started it at 2. The child's entire identity has been constructed around this thing now, right? That's what people don't really understand, that even the social transitioning of these extremely young children is very toxic because you are constructing an identity around it at that point rather than letting that child develop an identity without a reconstruction, right? You don't have to reconstruct a child's identity. You let them grow into it. So that's why I feel like my transition has worked out so well for me. And people might not understand this, and you got to kind of go through it to understand it, but try to stick with me, please. I don't feel like I ever had to reconstruct an identity to become myself, right? A name change, sure. But other than that, like, I really naturally kind of grew into the person that I am today. Jazz had her identity reconstructed too.
Yeah, and I don't think Blair goes into this, but the reason that Jazz Jennings' mother initially thought that Jazz was a girl or had gender dysphoria is because at 2, Jazz pulled down her onesie like a dress. And this was enough for this woman on your screen to say, maybe my kid is a girl. You know, and this is how insane this is. And it, honestly, if you don't believe that this is happening in the United States and other countries, it 100% is. As you can see, this isn't new. This was on ABC in 2007. That movement has just grown exponentially and gotten bigger and stronger, and to now we're here. Okay.
At 2, there was an end point, and now you are Girl Jazz. And now we are putting you on TV. So now we're getting to the point in this video where we are now at age 17. Lots happened in between, but now we're at 17. Time to get that sex change. We've been filming you. You're on season like 8 of your reality show. It's time to get that sex change. We need that season finale. Jazz's mom, Jazz's dad. Ratings are getting low. Gotta cut that off now, right? I'm really not trying to be funny. I know I talk sometimes a crazy way, but that's really what it is. They're filming her sex change in the scene, but it's botched.
Taking Jazz on as a patient for surgery, we knew it was going to be a one-of-a-kind surgery. I was just not expecting her to have a complication as severe as what she did have.
Jazz has had a very difficult surgical course. There were problems, and that prompted a second surgery.
The shining example of a childhood transition sex story has to have multiple surgeries to get it right because she's been botched. And if you know why she's botched, this is the reason. So to create a neo-vagina, to create a male-to-female section surgery, you have to have enough to start with to create that canal, right? Very graphic here, but stick with me. Basically, the length of your genitals, your penis, when you start, equals the length of the depth. So when you don't go through puberty because you were on blockers at 11, you don't develop anything down there, right? You never develop the ability to orgasm. And you don't develop enough genitals to turn into a different type of genital, right? If you can even consider that a genital that they're giving this baby. I personally kind of don't, right? Like I don't.
Yeah, same.
And again, I don't like saying that when I'm talking about this victim because I feel bad, but that's my honest feeling. So where exactly does this narrative come from that this path of puberty blockers before puberty, hormones early teens, and then sex change late teens, where exactly does this narrative come from that that's the proper path when their shining example couldn't get a proper sex change because of the puberty blockers, right? So puberty blockers are safe and reversible and essential for, the health of these transgender children, but they stopped her from getting this surgery that they built up over the course of 17 years of her life. Right. And they built up seasons of a reality show.
It's not reversible like that. They make it sound like, oh, if you just stop taking it, you'll just be fine. You'll just go back to your normal self. That is not true. If you have seen, especially females that attempt to transition into males, when they start taking testosterone, it really messes with their voice. And if they stop, they sort of have this high-pitched, squeaky teenage boy sound forever. It can't be changed. It's not reversible. Hang on a second. I'm gonna push play, but I'm gonna go put the dog up because he's barking his head off. So hang on a second.
For that finale, right? Monetization and exploitation, right? They monetize this baby getting a botched neovagina.
Hopefully after this revision, it'll look good once it heals. But if I lose some of my sensation and nerve endings, I might never experience an orgasm.
You're not gonna, babe. I don't think you will. And again, am I saying that to hurt your feelings? No. I'm saying that because I think that may, she's not gonna watch this, okay? But the point is, I think that may paint the picture a little clearer that this is an abuse victim. Your parents sterilized you. It's hard to even get this out because it's like really rough. Your parents sterilized you. Your parents deleted your natural human ability to engage in sexual intercourse and experience pleasure from it. And they did that before they even got rid of your genitals. See, that happened before they even got rid of the genitals. He never stood a chance. And that was your parents' decision. Because cosmetic surgeries happening to children, right, when they are minors, are the parents' decision. So your parents chose that for you. You didn't choose it for you. No matter how much you've been gaslit into thinking you really made that choice at 2, you didn't, baby. You didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really...
And you know, like because Jazz is, I believe, 21, 22 at this point. And likes girls like a straight 21, 22-year-old male would. Likes, you know, you see, hasn't shaved the legs, doesn't like bras, wants to date women. It's
Oh, this scene is demented. This scene, they filmed the botching taking place. When you watch this, you are going to be, it's not graphic, but you are going to be horrified.
Why are you cutting there? Right here? Yeah, why? Because this is scar, Jess. I don't like it. Yeah, but there's scar everywhere. If you don't have to cut this, why would you cut that? We could just advance it to there.
Jess, let me know. Are you picking up on what's happening? There are 2 surgeons working on this baby, and they're arguing about what to cut and what not to cut. They are getting in a genuine verbal altercation over what to cut and what not to cut. As if that shouldn't have been something figured out.
Right.
Before you started cutting, right?
Yeah, you're arguing while you're performing a surgery.
This baby has been... I hope I'm not coming across as funny by saying this baby. I'm being serious. This is a baby to me, right? She has had her entire life exploited and monetized. She's had an entire sex change exploited and monetized. I bet you the producers have made a lot more than Jax, right? Off all of this. So much so that even the botching of her surgery is occurring on the show. Hi. So could anyone really expect her to ever really work through all these layers of trauma, of manipulation, lies, gaslighting, exploitation, and get to the point where she could see these people as her abusers? Because I don't think she could. And that's done. Right? Like, normal abuse victims really only have to worry about their sometimes singular abuser doing that to them, sometimes multiple in the family. Jazz has an entire family doing it, right? An entire camera crew doing it. And an entire medical system doing it.
And a network.
Who could work through that? And on another level, the entire world has in some way joined in on that gaslighting and abusing as well. Because it's not enough. It's what's so demented about this. People are starting to wake up now, but this show has had many seasons, and Jazz's story is seen as something to be celebrated. So it's not enough that child abuse is being televised. It's that society is so demented that they can't even register as child abuse, therefore letting it continue. And then actually, another layer beyond that. They're not just letting it continue, they're celebrating it and making profit for the producers. So, again, layer. And you think Jazz is ever going to come to? I genuinely hope so. But if she never does, who can blame her? Right?
And who would be surprised?
This is sick. Arguing about what to cut. Shouldn't you know what to cut? This is her second surgery, by the way. This is the one to fix the first botch. And they're in the second one, arguing about what to cut. How am I going to have a heart attack?
But it doesn't make any sense. Why do you need to cut that? Because this is a disfiguring scar. How do you know it's not a disfiguring scar? That's just a sulcus. These are the two labia. I mean, you may be right, but we don't know. Jack, why don't we just open this up and then see what this is about, Jess?
Let me go. I will say that I feel like things should happen in a more methodical way.
You think, Dad?
Oh, here's
You
me
think?
Blair. Here's
First
me,
of all,
Blair. Yes, I have.
it shouldn't be
watched
happening at
this,
all. But yeah, agreed. If
I didn't mean to do that at the same time, but that was my genuine thought. Like, you think this should be done in a more methodical way? You are literally changing this person's life for the rest of their damn life. You're cutting off their body part. You're making a whole Frankenstein body part. I think methodically is a good word to use. But instead, you have two surgeons sitting here literally arguing while they are performing the surgery about where to actually cut. If that's terrifying. How is this not terrifying to people? And this is happening to more than just Jazz Jennings. Okay, Jazz just happens to be the face of trans kids, and we've watched Jazz grow up. The show is not new. It's been on for a long time. I don't know how many seasons, but enough that we've watched this person grow up, and you're seeing the outcome because Jazz gained a ton of weight, got very, very depressed, and I don't know if Jazz is in Harvard. They were supposed to go to Harvard. I don't know if they ever made it. I know that they didn't initially go. I don't know. Let's keep watching Blair. She's better than me anyway.
you're going to do it, they should probably know how to do it, right?
Right.
But that's what they don't really tell you about bottom surgery for male to female or female to male, is that none of these surgeons really know what the fuck they're doing. That's Dr. Marcy Bowers. That the trans doctor, the trans woman doctor that was cutting up Jazz. She is one of the leading sex change surgeons on the planet. On the planet.
I didn't know.
Has been famous for a long time doing that. And she is arguing about what to cut and what not to cut. And this is the leading surgeon. So none of these surgeons really know what they're doing, right? So maybe that can be a PSA to all parents out there. You're not doing the right thing. Ruining your kids' genitals. Ever, really. But definitely not with any of these surgeons on screen. This scene is making headlines because they are now monetizing a new storyline where the mother is questioning if Jazz is asexual. Go figure. You sterilize your child, they may not have a sex drive. Right? Spoiler alert, it also works on the family dog. You do that to the family dog as well to get them to not want to hump things anymore. Right? Works on people. Right? Works on people. Works on innocent children as well. Yeah.
You think she might be asexual?
That face. Was there a drop of guilt I'm seeing in that face? Probably not. I hope you feel some kind of guilt, because if she is asexual, which we know she is, how could she not be? She never went through puberty, never had an orgasm, and then it cut off, right? So definitely asexual. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you did that, Mom. Mother dearest, you did that. You took away your son's future as a normal, healthy, functioning adult. You and your husband, your pig husband, y'all are both in the pig trough.
So Chris poses the question of Jazz being asexual. If anybody knows they're asexual, Jazz would know that about herself.
Right. She's always known everything about herself, right? That self-awareness is present at 2. And she's been believed ever since 2. This is a sick bitch. I am not trying to be funny. I know the way I talk can sometimes seem funny. This is a sick bitch. Hello. My God.
You know what? If you don't normally watch Blair, this is Blair really pissed off. Like, you could just tell she's so bothered. She's so bothered by this. All the, the movements she's doing, I've watched her long enough and enough just to know, like, she's like really pissed about this. And she should be. Anyone watching this should be. What words are escaping me today? Just not happy, because this should not. be being pushed. And we've seen such an uptick in people identifying as transgender. Again, I think a lot of that is a fetish. A lot of it is for attention. And I don't think that they are actually suffering from gender dysphoria.
So you sterilize your child, and now you're doing a whole storyline, right, about her being asexual. So we're going to monetize now a new storyline. Ratings are getting low. New storyline, come on. About her not having a sex drive. As if everything else, including the botched surgery happening on camera, wasn't embarrassing enough for this child, this baby. Now you got to monetize her complete lack of sex drive that you caused.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Pig. In a wig.
You're not asexual. I'm definitely not asexual. I don't love kissing just because but I do like to kiss when the bond is there, right? I have that emotional connection.
So you're not asexual, but you can only bond with people emotionally, not sexually. You don't want to kiss, but you're not asexual. So again, don't anyone dare twist this into me attacking Jazz, because I'm not. I do have to let you know though, Jazz, and this is coming from a loving place, and my tone of voice, I will calm it down, is angry because I'm angry about what happened to you. Normal sexuality, right? People with a normal functioning sex drive, even a low sex drive, they want to kiss, sometimes even without an emotional bond, right? In fact, it happens a lot. And you're at that age where you should be wanting to do that, right? So I know you said in one breath that you're not asexual, but you also said in that same breath that you don't have any desire for anything physical unless there's an emotional connection. Which means at the very best, you have an extremely low sex drive, but in the probable reality, you have zero, right? And that's what your parents did to you, baby. They did it to you. And imagine the good that Jazz could do for the world if Jazz somehow came to from this haze, this fog created by her family, her television producers, her doctors, the media, right? The world. Realized what's happened to her and became an anti-child sex change advocate. She would be the most powerful one, and she would end this shit in a week. Right? She would end the shit in a week. But I'm not putting that responsibility on her. No one should ever put any responsibility on this baby, ever. Like, as far as I'm concerned, TLC, the way you've abused her, I'm going to need you to pay her rent somewhere nice for the rest of her life.
For real.
Let her kick her feet up. She's done enough. She's had enough done to her.
Yep.
Let her disappear from the spotlight, right? You're monetizing her asexuality caused by her botched sex change.
Sometimes I do think I'm demisexual, which is like, I don't know if I feel like being physical unless an emotional connection is there.
I mean, baby, I am someone with a pretty low sex drive. People don't maybe know that about me, right? I don't really talk about sex very often. I'm not super open about that, but for the sake of this conversation, let's be real. I don't have much of a sex drive, right? I've kind of always been that way, even before transitioning, but the hormones definitely have exacerbated that. But even with my lower than average sex drive, I sometimes have that physical desire. In fact, pretty regularly have it. So that would be normal of someone with a low sex drive to still regularly have an urge, a desire, right? What you're describing is having no physical desires or urges at all. There's a reason for that.
You know I can't get out of the way. I know. No, listen. It just doesn't stop. It's okay. Give me hope. It's okay. I know what you're want. I've been there. No, it still doesn't stop now. And I'm already going back to negative. But just more you're talking about yourself, it gets harder. So this is hard for you. I know. And we don't want to, I'm the one doing it. Like, I know you're your own worst enemy. This is really bad. Like,
that's so bad.
So watch this. What's up is the mother just told this baby, you're your own worst enemy. And to anyone with any discernment, right? The mother is the child's worst enemy. Sorry, I don't hate and cry. Crying on YouTube, nightmare. But what I'm watching is like really sad.
I really want to understand myself and be able to read my own soul and what I want. I just want to feel like myself. Like, that's it. I don't care. All I want is to be happy and feel like me, and I don't feel like me ever.
I'm proud to announce the launch of Vids, an entirely new company from the Daily Wire. A company dedicated to creating the next...
Don't feel like me ever. Really.
So the entire storyline of your life on this show has been about how you knew your soul at 2. And here you are at 2021? And you don't have it figured out. So how did you have it figured out at 2, baby? Right? And how do you look at your parents? I can't look at your parents seriously, that they took you seriously at 2, right? Because you're here as an adult, not knowing where you're going and what's going on, saying, I can't get out of my head. I want to feel like me and never feel like me. Wasn't the whole purpose of I Am Jazz? How that's you? And the entire journey was to finally feel like you. So for you to now be saying, I never feel like me, I mean, that's a fucked up sentiment to feel. Because as someone who, you know, transitioned and ultimately benefited from it, right? And feels like me every day. That's supposed to be about the only reward from transitioning is to kind of feel like you. And no matter who's watching this video that doesn't get it from the outside looking in, like ultimately, whether you think it's going to work or not, that's why we do it, right? So for her to not have that result, when I know it is possible because I'm living it, that's up, right? If it is to be hailed as the success story, the trans success story. Maybe I'm getting more emotional than I need to be about this, but I really don't think I am. Like, you know, we watched a child be abused their entire life. Yeah, me for crying, right? Love you guys. See you in the next video.
So that's clear. And that's Jazz, and I think she put it perfectly. That was a lot. I didn't actually plan on playing that whole thing, but you know, here we are. So, but anyway, take the banner from the chat down. Oh, sorry. I always do that. I always forget. Could you not see stuff? Sorry. You literally live stream yourself gawking at mentally ill people. Get a life, please. You are literally live streaming yourself gawking at mentally ill people. Well, yeah, so are you if you're watching. I mean, yes, I do agree, though, that they are mentally ill. And I don't think that's a terrible thing to say. Like everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people have mental illness. Yeah, depression, anxiety, all of them. A lot of people have mental illness. Gender dysphoria is just another mental illness. That's what it is. So, oh, hi, Robbie. Robbie agrees with Kath that I need to get a life. Well, this is what I wanted to do tonight. Nobody asked you to be here. You didn't have to be here. You either, Robbie. Neither one of you. So, but thank you, Grandma, for being here. And I guess I'm going to end it because, yeah, I just... Poor Jazz. Yeah, really. Jazz's mom does have boundary issues, too. But anyway, all right. I love you guys, and I will see you later. Bye for now.